As a general evaluator of the meeting, I need to call on John, who will also provide his evaluation of the table topics presentation by Ms. V. John?
Hi, everyone. Normally, we don't evaluate table topics, although when we started our club, we did that. We evaluate table topics, including the table topics participants. But Ms. V is doing her active listening project. So she used table topics as her project in her strategic relationships pathways. And it is no happenstance that we definitely had funny and fantastic experience because Miss V is the one leading our table topics. She promised that and she delivered that. How and why and what or because. One, the minute she opened, as you notice, humor is already embedded in her approach, not only in what she says, but in how she conveys it with her facial expressions. We know Miss V is full of them, and she always catches our attention. So using that as an opening engages us immediately. So that was fun. That was funny. And of course, when you have fun and funny together, that's a fantastic experience. So whenever you open a segment, whether you're a speaker, a facilitator, Toastmaster, table topics master, it doesn't exclude you from thinking, how do I open and engage with my audience? So that she did. Now, the context, the questions that she gave us were not only in sync and consistent with the theme, but they were thought-provoking. They were personal and everyday questions that you could have gotten from the Thanksgiving table, but it elicits one to share stories. So they're not just a yes or no answer. They immediately induces the flow of stories from somebody who wants to share their innermost experiences. So that in itself creates that fantastic experience because we get to know each other just because of these stories. And it makes the table topics more enriching. And she did an excellent way to be an active listener because she transitioned by weaving from one speaker to another. Whether you're a topics master, Toastmaster, or you take the podium as a timer or a grammarian, you always should be aware that you're taking the podium from somebody else and giving it to somebody else. In fact, that's supposed to be our practice in Toastmasters, especially in the virtual world. It's tough. You don't know how to think or say who should be in the podium because there's no podium. The podium is how we transition, and she did that very well. Lastly, in the closing, she summarized because sometimes table topics masters don't, and she did. If there's one thing I should suggest to Ms. V, active listening is not just literally listening. It's also being aware of the surroundings or the environment. For example, there were opportunities, for example, to call on people who had no roles, like Michael and a guest, Benedict. Actually, both Michael and Benedict were guests, and Jonah was here a while ago, that we could have taken that opportunity to involve them instead of calling those people with roles like Ray and Jennifer, so on and so forth. But other than that, it was fun, definitely funny, and we had a fantastic experience. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.